What's up, everybody? Welcome to the capsule. In case you haven't noticed, I am not Luke, and neither is Sophia. Luke has been fired from the capsule, and we're taking over. Thank you for your service, Luke, but you are no longer needed. Just kidding, he couldn't be here today, so we're taking over, right?
Yeah, hello.
So in case you don't know me, because I'm here only very sporadically, my name is Jenny Lou, and I am part of the Capsule family co-host. Sophia is the producer.
Bam.
Producer
Hello.
extraordinaire.
Oh, thank you.
And don't we have a show for you today?
Yes, we do.
So let's dive right into it with our weekly Dancers React to I Have Been Changed for Good.
Ooh.
Wicked Part 2 is out. So Sophia and I did a Wicked marathon this weekend because neither of us had seen either of the Wickeds.
Yeah, facts.
And we will share our thoughts and feelings about Wicked, especially considering that like every dancer and their mom in the UK and in London was in Wicked. And I was really like, I was expecting for it to be another wave of like all the dancers posting like screenshots and like I was in Wicked, blah, blah, blah. But it was pretty silent from the dancer side this time around compared to the part 1 that came out a year ago. I feel like a year ago when part 1 was released, it was like everything was green and pink on my timeline and like just everything was a screenshot of somebody like
in a little costume.
Yeah, in a green like curly hair and like high top hat. But this year was pretty quiet from the dancer side, and when I saw the movie I kind of understood why. Because part 2 really doesn't feature dancing and dancers as much as part 1.
Right.
So, Sophia, what were your thoughts on Wicked, the musical, the movie?
Well, I haven't seen the actual live musical, and I heard that it's really, really good.
Okay. Would you go see it now?
Maybe, just because I'm curious of like how it's transferred from screen to like the stage.
Or more how it transferred from the stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's very true. I have mixed feelings about the movie. I can understand the hype of like, it's giving me like kind of, because like they created like a whole universe.
Yeah.
It's giving me like this kind of sense of like they're trying to do like a new kind of Harry Potter feeling of like people want to immerse themselves into something and be kind of like, oh, you know, like this is the Wicked kind of era and like,
right.
You know? So I understand it. But then story-wise, I was just a little bit like, I loved like maybe the first half of the movie, and then the second half seems so random, and I feel like there was so many like different kind of like how do you say not twist, like the plot was just going in different directions, and
right.
I think it just seemed a bit confusing. And then yeah, I don't know, like I feel like I was just like I didn't understand what was the actual like point of the story. Was it around the animals that are not talking, or was it against like her, or was like, you know, like I didn't really like get like the sense of what the movie was about at that point. And like after it I was like, maybe it's because I don't know enough about the universe, so I went to research about like what's the link with the Wizard of Oz story and this, because I didn't really know about it. And then I was just like, okay, like now that I know where they fit together, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's still like I feel like the story got a bit confusing in the second half of the first one.
Like in the second half of the first movie.
Yeah.
Not part 2.
Not part 2.
Yeah. Like when they go to Oz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do. I hear it. Also, are you a fan of musicals in general?
I wouldn't say fan, but I don't mind them.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed the movies, to be honest.
Okay.
Although I'm not necessarily like when I was a kid, I was like super musical. I had a musical phase.
Love it.
But so I did enjoy it. And I think it's also amazing to have like these huge productions that employ like hundreds and hundreds of dancers and performers, you know, because we're biased here, of course. but I did like I did find that compared to other musicals that like I've seen it in recent years, and I think like the majority of the musicals that I've seen would I would say would be like live action of Disney.
Yeah.
You know, like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the
Yeah.
Beast. And like Wicked kind of fits in that, not like it's a Disney movie, but like like
Like
it kind of sits between like a Disney movie, a Marvel movie, like a kind of, I don't know, you know. So I think that they did a good job of like kind of integrating a lot of different themes, you know, that maybe for you was like too, not too much, but like, okay, you have the storyline of like trying to save the animals, then you have like their friendship, then you have something that's like an underlying theme about like discrimination and like being an outsider.
Yeah.
And then within that you have like sitting in the world of Oz and the Wizard of Oz and all of that. So there is a lot to be like kind of
like unpack. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot to unpack, where like if you come with zero context and zero knowledge, I think it like raises a lot of questions, as opposed to if you have all the context of the Wizard of Oz before.
Yeah, I think once I saw like all the, because I've never watched the Wizard of Oz.
What?
I know, it's so bad.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, I'm gonna get like the backlash of this, but like, yeah, I think once I understood like the whole thing with the Wizard of Oz and him being like just a kind of normal guy and whatnot, like it made sense. I was like, okay, like maybe it's just like the lack of knowledge that is killing it for me, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, I do think that like, especially I feel like part 1 versus part 2, like part 1 felt a lot more bubbly, like not kiddie, but like a lot more like a Disney movie of like more child friendly and all of that. I think part 2 is a lot kind of like darker and has a bit more like sadness and like, you know, the characters go through like a journey and they separate, and it's like, I don't know, it has a bit more like adult themes in it than the first one, which I kind of enjoyed the different tone of the two movies without losing like the universe. But yeah, I also felt like, you know, like I was saying, in part 2 there's a lot less dancing, like it's a lot less kind of like, and musical number and everyone is dancing together. Yeah, so but I did enjoy it. I think like Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo are like definitely really, really both outstanding in it, like as singers, and I think as actresses they also like do a really, really good job. And I feel like there is like the performance is for me like a lot stronger than something like The Little Mermaid, or like that doesn't necessarily have, like, it has the potential to have the emotional depth, but it just doesn't really for me, the like Disney live action movies. But yeah, I did enjoy some shots of dancers that we could see really clearly. Like we could see Marvel really clearly. We saw Omni very clearly. And so that was nice. I have to say though, and this is a thought, like I know also Comfort, Fadoki, who's been on the podcast, she was, I think, like associate choreographer on it. I think, which is the whole reason why she was in London and came on the pod. Right. So also amazing to see like kind of people from the hip hop and street dance like background. And I mean, she's a great performer and dancer overall. Like she's not like, I don't want to box her in like she's just a hip hop dancer. I think she's very versatile in choreography and all of that. But yeah, so she was associate choreographer on it, and I think it was like the dancing was really great. And I think it's like in these musicals and these shows, it's really like, you know, the dancing is like a support act to like the storyline. It's kind of built around the main characters and all of that. So it's like, it's not necessarily featured as like the main art form. It's kind of like the background to the music and the decor and the all of that is kind of part of creating the universe. And I think it was like we saw a little bit of popping, you know, or animation when they're like you know, these characters that are a little bit like robotic and all of that. And I saw like maybe a few instances of choreography that was like a little bit more like, I wouldn't say it's like hip hop per se, but that had a little bit more like groove to it, which was nice. But I always feel like also have like mixed feelings about it, in a sense that it's like it's nice to see on screen and on those platforms, but also I feel like juxtaposed with like music from a musical,
Yeah.
there's something about it that like looks and feels a little bit odd to me, you know.
Also, I feel like like the music influences the movement in a sense of like it's like street dancers, but then it's not street dance. I don't know how to explain this, but like the choreo for me felt like it made sense with the realm of it, but then it's like just like thinking about like the kind of dancers that are in the movie. You know what I mean? It's just like there's like kind of like a thing of like, well, if it's like more like there is okay like elements of popping and stuff, but I feel like if we like kind of put it in a way that it was more like the dancers could showcase like more of like the styles, then
there was like a few moments of these, like there was a moment with like
okay,
Kaner Flex, where he does like a bit of flexing.
True.
Then I feel like there was like, well, we saw Omni, so there was little glimpses of it, but I think generally speaking, it's like, I mean, the style of a musical is also like very kind of like, I feel like commercial, like, is it even really a style? I don't know as a name, but like, yeah, I think overall they did a good job of like integrating different movement languages, different like choreography style. But, you know, I feel like also because the way it's cut, you don't really get to see like the choreography. You see masses of people moving together, and like, you know, the transitions and how things go in and out was like really well done. But it's kind of hard to see like the quality of the choreography per se, because the cuts are so fast and it's mainly focused on like, you know, the main character walking through. But I did like enjoy it for a musical.
I think also I like the fact that, I mean, obviously it makes sense because there were so many dancers, but like you see them throughout the movie, even in scenes that are not dance scenes as well. So like sometimes someone is just acting and you're like, oh, this is kind of cool, because it feels like, you know, it's not like just a random people come in because there's a dance scene and then they go away. It's kind of like they're part of the whole realm, which was nice, I think.
Yeah, Kieran Lai also. We saw pretty well. But yeah, so well done to all the people that were on Wicked. It was wicked to see you. And yeah, I think it's like dope to see, like I said, these productions with like so many people of our community that get to be on these like major productions. I hope that there's more. And
sorry.
No, you go.
I was gonna say, and also a mix of generations.
True.
Like there was really like kind of like OG, like older gen, and then like really young people that I've been to uni with, you know. So
yeah, true. And there was also like, I think they did a really, really good job of like casting a very diverse kind of primary cast, but also even the dancers. Like there was, you know, oftentimes I think like in more like commercial or in more of these like big projects, it's very kind of like thin and tall and good looking and like a certain look. But I think there was like a range of like bodies, a range of like abilities. You know, there were performers that were in wheelchairs that were like, I mean, there's the Nessa Rose character who's in a wheelchair, but there was also like dancers and performers that were in wheelchair. There was like different heights, different sizes, different color, different ethnicity, different backgrounds. So I think they did a really, really good job of representing, you know, a wide like range of the community, which is like part of the message of the movie, I think.
100%.
Of like being accepting of difference and you know. So I think that hopefully that sets like a precedent and, you know, a way it sets a bar for like how these productions can be casted and like, be representative what the world actually looks like.
Yeah. And also I feel like it was nice, like you said, like everyone was posting about it, and it seemed like generally the dancers had a great experience, which is really important, I think.
Yeah, from what I've heard, um like everyone had a great time on set. Like I didn't hear anybody, and usually like not like that they'll call me and complain, but I think like overall, especially when a production hires that many people, if they don't treat people well, you hear about it.
Yeah, 100%.
Like echoes. But yeah, I didn't hear anything. All the people that I spoke to like seemed to have a great time on set, and I think it's also like rare that we get to be on productions that have like such kind of elaborate like costume, hair, makeup, set. Like,
yeah.
It seemed pretty epic. And also because it's otherworldly, it's not like, oh, you're just wearing a different variation of an outfit that you would wear in everyday life anyways. There you're kind of dressed like a munchkin.
A munchkin, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so props to the whole production team and all the performers and all the dancers. Like, there's no doubt that like employed thousands of people overall, and that so many people had to work on it to make those films happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope that you have been changed for good.
Very nice.
You have to finish the second movie.
Yeah. I only actually watched like half of the second, so it's on
you needed a break.
Well, I think it's just, I think it's also because, did you watch it in the cinema?
No.
You watched, oh. Yeah, I think that's what was one of the issue for me. I was like, oh, how do I watch it? But yeah, maybe I'll go watch it in the cinema so I get the full experience. I know it was playing on IMAX. I'm just wondering, like, what is it with the massive screen?
Yeah.
So maybe. Should we move on to some UK news?
Yeah, what's going on in the UK, Sophia?
God, so many things this week. I just wanted to give a shout out to UPG.
Whoop whoop.
They've run a 2v2 7 to Smoke battle last Friday. Yeah. And I wasn't there because I was working, but from what I saw on Instagram, it looked really, really dope. Like there was so many dancers. It was here at Red Bull. It was sold out. The music sounded great, and I think like I saw some clips of the battles and it looked really, really cool. And I think like for me this year felt like the UK scene was a little bit more quiet than usual. I don't know, maybe it's like a personal feeling, but I feel like battle-wise, like we had events, but there was like not a lot of events that really stood out for me. And I feel like it's so nice to like not even be at the event and like still kind of hear good things about it. So like just really props to them. I feel like this year they've been really like delivering. So
yeah.
And
this is, I think, the second edition of their battle, right?
I don't know if it was the same concept because their previous one was the battle for the bag one.
Yeah.
So there was like a cash prize of £1,000.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the cash prize on this one, but they did like they had a different concept, whereas like they had like some cards that they were giving from the top 8 where like it was kind of like helping people and like just kind of I guess creating concepts and stuff like that. So yeah. And I'm not sure the other one was a 2v2 actually.
You're asking the wrong person.
Yeah. Maybe
I feel like it was a one-on-one last time.
I think so too. But yeah. But anyways, all of that to say big shout out to them because they're killing it.
And who won? Malonzo
and J Bull.
Yeah.
But he called himself 10KJ.
10KJ. Nice.
I love it.
Change his name, wins 10K once and then won't let it go. Congrats. Well done. Maybe another K. Who knows? Maybe 11K. Maybe it's like, this is the thing. Every time he wins, J Bull, maybe every time you win, you have to add you have to change your name to like however much you've earned from winning battles. So it's like 10KJ, but maybe it's like 11KJ, 11.3 KJ. I don't know. It's an idea. I
love it. There's something there.
Yeah. Then we can keep track of your progress and of how rich you're getting.
I love it. Yeah. And what else? On Friday, so I wasn't at the battle because I actually worked at live streamed.
Yes.
The capsule is available to live stream your event, guys. I live streamed the Spill event, so from Tally,
Yeah.
Identity Ideas Industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, with 3 eyes. And the concept fits with Cheese and Hill's Scratch Renaissance project. So they have different kind of Scratch nights. They had a few over the last few months. And the concept of Spill is that it's a Scratch night that is based more around talking rather than presenting work. So Tali had conversation with like 3 different dancers about some work that they're currently developing, and I thought it was such a nice like concept and different concept than usual. So I just wanted to do a little shout out to Tali as well for bringing this new thing. And I think they also have the edition for the next, or like the application open for the next edition of it.
Okay.
So if you're interested in like talking with Tali about some work you're developing, definitely check it out on the Cheese and Hill dance page on Instagram.
Yeah, amazing. And I think, I mean, from what I saw, I think like part of the concept of Spill is like the practice of talking about your practice and talking about your work, and the fact that there is not really any spaces to like practice doing that, but it is a skill, you know, and like any skill, there are certain people that it comes very naturally to, and then there's people that it doesn't come naturally. And often it's like you're kind of only confronted to doing it when you have to do it and when there's something at stake. And so it kind of adds a pressure right away, and it's kind of, you know, something that is difficult to learn. I mean, if you don't necessarily have that inherently, it can be quite confronting. And then if you feel like, oh, I didn't do well and then I lost an opportunity to choreograph something, it's like it can be very difficult. So I think creating those spaces to like develop that practice, and you know, even I think for like people who are interested in doing that, to go and listen how other people speak about their work, to see like what you like, what you don't like, what you find that's not interesting, what you find that is interesting, what like speaks to you, I think is really informative in kind of shaping then thinking how you would want to do it. And of course, applicable to dance and choreography and making theater work. But I think just in life generally, like speaking about yourself, speaking about what you do, speaking about what you want to do that you haven't done yet, and kind of the process to get there is something that is really, really useful in for any like kind of, I mean, for any job, I would say, but even more so if you're working like as a self-employed person, if you're having to kind of pitch yourself and your services in different ways. And it's like the art of pitching so that it doesn't feel like a pitch. You know? So I think opening up these spaces for that, and you know, it's always different when you do it with a bunch of people listening and when you're just kind of thinking about it in your room. So I think it's nice to add maybe a bit of a not pressure environment, but it's like because there's people watching, you have to be a bit more conscious of what and how you're saying things. But at the same time, it's not like, well, if you don't do this properly, you might miss out on this huge opportunity. So I think it's a really nice idea. I couldn't make it this time, but I do hope next time I can make it. And I think the live stream, is it still available to watch?
It's still on the capsule.
So yeah, you can go watch it. And you know, leave some comments, I think, on the video as well, like on the live stream, to even if you watch it on catch up, to let us know like what you think of the concept, even to feedback to Tally, like and to Chisenhale as well, to see like if this is something that feels useful and interesting to watch and something you would go to in person as well.
Also, I think it's so rare to be able to present an idea. Like we often have this thing of like kind of presenting more like finished content or like kind of polished things, and like this is kind of like an opportunity to also like exchange in a stage that is still like really easy to like like make changes and develop in a different direction. So I feel like this is also really important because it acknowledges like different stages of the process.
Yeah. And like talking about something that you don't know fully what it is yet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that, in order to, oftentimes, like whether it's dance or other things, obviously we both work as producers outside of this podcast. But like I think that we're so often required to like find partnerships, funding, collaborators, like different people that are going to be involved somehow in a project. And most of the time you have to get these people on board before you've done the thing, because you need them in order to do the thing. So that kind of skill of like getting people to buy into an idea, or to get excited, or to see the vision, to like believe in what you're doing before you've done it, is something that is quite difficult to do, I think. So yeah, I think it's definitely something that's needed. Who knows, I might go on next time.
Ooh, all right, Jenny.
I don't know. Maybe I have a project.
I can't wait to hear about
Maybe
it.
it's just an idea.
I love it.
That's why I should talk about it.
All right, and then last but not least, just wanted to mention that the application for Breaking Convention are open this year.
Woo-woo.
If you don't know, get to know Breaking Convention. Been there for more than 20 years.
Yeah.
We're really pioneering the hip hop culture industry in the UK and worldwide as well. So yeah, if you have some work that you think you would like to present at Breaking Convention, which is usually happening in the first weekend of May for bank holiday, so I think it's the 2nd of May the next year in 2026, make sure you check out their website for the application and the criteria. And yeah, it's a great platform to showcase some work in front of the UK scene, in a reputable space. So yeah, check it out.
That's
Ooh.
right. Big up to Breaking Convention. They've been a huge supporter of the capsule, but also a huge supporter of so many different artists in the UK, like along the way. I think, a lot of people have achieved milestones because of Breaking Convention, or, have kind of had experiences that have shaped their journey. So, yeah, I think they have a great they have a bunch of great opportunities throughout the year. So definitely, if you want to present work, I think it's a great place to do it. But also make sure that you check out kind of their ongoing program throughout the year and different opportunities with them. So big love to the Breaking Convention team. And then, what's going on social media this week?
A bit of craziness.
Social media always be a little bit hectic. So there's three things that we want to address that kind of went not viral, but that like picked up on the socials this week. So first of all, let's talk about some Krump healing. Okay, so there was a video that was posted by Eyez where there is a claim that he traveled to Medellin, Colombia, where he was, I think, giving a Krump workshop, or like maybe participating in some kind of event, a festival, or
it was like a summit.
A summit.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there was a person who was there who was on crutches, who was allegedly on crutches or on crutches. And then Eyez went to him, said like, can I pray over your leg? And then in the video, Eyez describes that him and his wife prayed over his leg, and then that the guy was healed and he didn't need crutches anymore, and he was walking and he was healed because of Krump. So I think I have like mixed feelings and mixed thoughts about this. First of all, worth saying that Eyez is part of, well, I don't actually know, is but was definitely part of this dance cult.
Yeah.
And was featured on, was it Dancing with the Devil?
Yeah. On Netflix.
On Netflix, a documentary of like this kind of hyper religious dance, or like dance TikTok organization that was exploiting dancers. So I think that, you know, how can I'm trying to say this in a diplomatic way, but also be honest with my thoughts. I have my own personal views on religion, and I think that it's like with something like religion, everyone is entitled to their own faith and to their own practice and to their own beliefs. And I think that faith can be such a powerful like a powerful force in somebody's life. So I wouldn't want to like discredit, anyone's religion or faith. But I think that there is like sometimes a danger in like kind of using faith to like to influence or control people, especially as we saw in the documentary of Dancing with the Devil. And even if it's like regardless of dance, like as we've seen in so many like different cults and organizations, and even within like different religious establishments themselves, like kind of that like it can have quite a coercive power that can come with religion. And then I went on the dancer's page who like was shot. Basically the story is that he was shot and the bullet wasn't meant for him, and since he had been shot, he was like he was on crutches. From what I saw, he was like dancing before, and then you can see on the timeline like there's a time that he's then in a wheelchair, and that he was still dancing in a wheelchair. And then after that, there's other videos of him dancing where he has like a crutch leaning on the wall, but he's dancing like and walking. Like I obviously can't tell whether he's in pain or not and what's going on with his body, but it's like he doesn't need the crutch to stand because he's dancing and just has the crutch with him. So I'm a little bit like skeptical of the fact that like the video that was posted 5 days ago. So it's like, I don't know if he went to Colombia 6 months ago and the healing happened 6 months ago, or if it's like the guy was standing 5 months ago and then you went now like 2 weeks ago and then healed him 2 weeks ago. But I just think it's like important to take these things with a grain of salt. And I think that like there's also something very, very powerful in the mind, of like you can like, I think your mind can make your body sick and your mind can also help like heal your body. But I think there's also like physical things that are happening that the mind can't necessarily heal. So I'm not in a position to say like what's real and what's not. I don't know what the medical condition of the guy is, but I also think that like blindly believing that like you can pray and Krump over somebody's leg and then they're healed is also like can be a little bit misleading. And I would be tempted to like, I think like if what I had seen on social media was like the guy had been not walking for like 6 months and then all of a sudden he was, then I would be more like inclined to ask questions. But the fact that on his socials you can see that he's moving and dancing and all of that, it makes me question the timeline of it. And yeah, I just have a bit of a funny feeling about this one.
I feel like it's also a bit dangerous in the sense of like dancers already don't like sometimes don't like take seriously like injuries and things like that, and I'm just kind of also scared of like the message that this is sending out to like younger, more can you say that, influenceable? No. But that you can be influenced, like dancers, like younger dancers, that can be influenced easily and think that like their injuries can go away. Like, I'm not saying like obviously like also like same as you, I have my own opinion about like, you know, and views on religion, and like, you know, like everyone has the right to have their own like beliefs, but then there's also this thing of like, don't dismiss like the medical aspects of things, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It could lead to like really serious cases and injuries for dancers. So yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like the thing that like I find not scary, but that I feel like is a risk with these claims and these things is that there's obviously people out there that are like not necessarily wanting to be saved, but like, you know, there are people that are looking for a place to belong, that are looking for like faith and religion, or like to be part of a group, to be part of something, to feel like there's somebody who's helping them, guiding them in life. And I think that kind of opens the door to things that can be a little bit predatory.
Yeah.
You know, and not to say that tie-dyes is predatory, but I think it's like, you know, with the cult thing that we saw that he was involved in also, and the people that got out and the stories that they had to tell about being part of that organization, just makes me question a little bit things. So I would just say, you know, I think it's for every person out there to make their own opinion and decide what is right or wrong for them.
Yeah.
But I just think it's like sometimes when you like, even in my life, it's like when I feel really compelled to go towards something, I also like try to pause a minute and be like, is this actually good for me? Is this actually, you know, like healthy? Is this person actually, you know,
has good intentions?
Yeah.
And also I think it's hard because it's like someone that is so influential in that community. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. I mean, I agree with you.
So I hope that the person who got shot is actually healed or healing, and that he's better and that he's dancing. And whatever is the cause of the healing, I'm happy for it. And great to know that he is better. And sorry he got shot. Moving on.
That's hilarious.
Moving on, freestyle session.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of drama online, a little bit of uproar. So there is a battle that happened between Meda, who's a French b-boy.
Yeah.
Don't know how old, but from what I see in the video, not a new.
Yeah, quite experienced.
Not a newbie. He looks probably like late 30s, early 40s, I would say.
Yeah.
And it was a 2-on-2, and he battled a kid, I believe from China, or I think it's China.
I think the battle was in China, so I would.
Wasn't it freestyle session? Isn't it in LA?
Oh, it might be then.
Okay.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Yeah. But he battled a kid called Holy Rain, who's I think 15. And so Meda is a French b-boy, and he really was going off on the kid in the battle. Like, he was talking shit a lot, being quite aggressive, like doing like the biting sign and just being really in his face, serving some, for those listening to audio, the classic b-boy cock move. And yeah, he was just really being in his face and quite like a bit rude and not disrespectful, but I mean, I don't think it was necessarily disrespectful in that context, but I see how people read it as disrespectful.
Yeah.
And so there was like a bunch of uproar in the comments, and then people kind of made reaction videos about it and about like being really, really outraged at how Meda was acting towards a kid, saying like it's really inappropriate to be like this with a kid. It's too much. It's too aggressive. How could the judges let it happen? How could the organizers let that happen? And kind of just really kind of reacting on it. And at the end of the battle, sorry, I forgot to mention that. At the end of the battle, Meda went to shake Holy Rain's hand, and Holy Rain was like, no, fuck you. I'm not shaking your hand. Like, go back to your side. And then, funnily enough, like Holy Rain and his partner won that battle. Um, so here are my thoughts on it. Okay, so I think in the context of a battle, like I think that people also have been complaining for years that battles are like too soft and you know that it's kind of losing the edge of like being really competitive and like blah blah blah. So not you can't have it both ways, but personally I think that like if we're talking about an adult and he was like trying to bully him in a corner of the event, like that's wrong. But on the dance floor, for me, it's like part of like it's okay to be for that to be part of your persona and to kind of be really in somebody's face, be really distracting. Like, is the best person to do that against a 15-year-old? Maybe not. But also, I think that like these experiences are part of shaping you as a dancer, as a performer, and in life. Like, I think this extra sheltering of like, oh no, like we have to protect the kid, like we do have to protect kids, but it's like he's a 15-year-old, and it's like in life in general, not just in a battle, you're gonna deal with people that are rude. You're gonna deal with people that are in your face, that don't act appropriately, that don't like that are a little bit out of line. And so it's like if you're never exposed to that, then how are you going to learn how to deal with it? You know, and it's in a controlled environment. Like he wasn't in danger, you know, like he wasn't like not he wasn't actually bullying him, but it's like it's kind of part of the universe and part of the culture to deal with that kind of stuff. So I think that it's like, was it the best way for somebody like Meda to act in front of a kid? Like, maybe not, but I also don't think it's that big of a deal. And then Holy Rain was perfectly within his rights to be like, no, go fuck yourself, like go back to your side, and then to point and to be like, I won, shut the fuck up. You know, like I get why people were really outraged, but I also feel like is it that big of a deal? And also like kind of overprotecting and over like you need to, I think whether it's like a battle or anything in life, like in those years of your life when you're a teenager, you need to be exposed to situations that are like not necessarily dangerous, but a bit that you're under pressure, so that you get trained on how to act and how to behave and how to overcome these situations. If they never happen, then what's going to happen when you're 35 and you go through it for the first time in your life? Like you're gonna have anxiety and not know how to cope with it and all of that. So I didn't have a feeling watching it that Holy Rain was like particularly shook. He seemed like he was fine. So, and again, like I don't know him, I don't know if he was actually fine, but yeah, that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts?
I agree with you. I feel like also the video is a bit like misleading because it is kind of like, I think it is kind of edited and cut into the moment
to make him look,
it makes it look like he's just going
relentless
on about it. And I'm just wondering like if it was like a 5-second type of thing, or like you're biting and whatever, doing like nonsense. But then I'm wondering if it's like more a thing of like, because it was like they made it look so pushy, you know, in the video, that like that caused the actual issue about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I agree with you in the sense of like definitely like exposing, and like this is like an aspect of the culture that is just there because that's just battle culture. And like I feel like we had this conversation recently as well with Lee Twins at battle at Beyond Doubt, sorry. And yeah, they were saying the same thing about this kind of like anger love aspect, and it's like this is part of like what this is, and like you know that when you get into like the battle, this is what you're getting, you know,
like to have a persona on stage that's a bit of an, not of an asshole, but it's like, okay, you kind of overperform it and go a bit over the top with it for the sake of like the environment.
But then I mean obviously like I think he's like, you know, Meda is a grown adult, and like I think it's also his right to choose what he wants to do when he wants to do it. And like, okay, maybe this kind of like, okay, the biting sign, like it's fine. But then after like anything extra like was his choice as well, and I'm wondering, okay, like if was that the right choice at this point? It's part of the culture, but it's also like I don't know if it's really needed to that extent. Well, like I feel like you kind of need to consider who is against, like who you're going against, which I feel like you mentioned as well. It's like, okay, it's necessary to do this against a 15-year-old, that clearly also like there's difference in like the way they probably train and probably the way they learn about breaking and things like that, because they're just from different countries.
Yeah. Or was he overcompensating because he was losing?
That's also an option.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think it's like sometimes we kind of have a tendency, especially now with like social media and all of that, to kind of over like blow things out of proportion.
100%.
And so and just because it's like some people say it's outrageous and it's like out of line and blah blah blah, it's like good to kind of step back. And like you say, also I haven't watched the full battle, but it's like also edited to make it look a certain way. But yeah, I think it's okay to have a like I don't know, it's okay to be in situations that are under pressure. It's okay to be, I mean, try not to be an asshole, but it's like it's okay to be confronted with people that aren't acting correctly so that you can learn how to act as well. Like I think it's kind of part of coming up, like also as a teenager and as a kid in the like kind of in the culture and in the battle scene, there's times that like I got checked, or that people acted weird and that I was like, oh, okay, I don't know how to act and it's a little bit weird and all of that. But also it's like, well, because I was confronted with these situations and it also informed like how I learn and how I acted then as an older person. So I think it's like kind of preventing these things from together, like trying to prevent these things from happening altogether is not necessarily like serving in the long run. It's like, and again, like I'm not talking like if he was like calling him names and trying to bully him like on the sidelines and like trying to physically intimidate him like backstage, I wouldn't have the same opinion. But in the context of that, I don't think that he was like in danger or and then last but not least, on the social media news, we have a clip that went somewhat viral that had a lot of people reacting. So we're going to play it because it's audio.
Late stage capitalism has also ruined dance. These competitions have awarded dancers for being able to kick their legs to their head versus dances that are able to tell a story. And the reason behind that is because art is subjective. We know that anybody would be oppressed by anybody being able to do 50 pirouettes. So we've become so accustomed to external validation that that's what everybody's working towards. But the reality is, art is what moves people. It's what makes people feel something. And I think we've just become so numb as a society that nobody's feeling. So dance has also been affected by that.
Okay, big statements made. So this is a video that was on Instagram from a dancer called Maya Williams. I believe she's from the States in New York. Any thoughts?
I'm really like 50-50 because I hear where she's coming from, but there's a part of me that is also like, I don't want to be like mean or whatnot, but like I feel like everyone expresses themselves in their own way, and like also I think like it's not really clear on what setting she's talking about, because I feel like this statement is different from like if you're talking about the commercial scene or like a dance battle. So you know what I mean?
I have a feeling, because I checked her page and I kind of get a sense that it's more like studio competition she's talking about.
Oh.
Like kind of UDO style.
Oh.
Like I get a sense that she's talking mainly about like either dance studio competitions, like choreography competitions, or like maybe dance TV shows, or maybe she's talking about competitions in general. But that's also something that's not specified in the video what she's talking about.
It's very generalized when she speaks.
Okay, so here is what I think she means by late stage capitalism. I think and I'll say my opinion. But
Okay.
I think it's like, well, what, because I looked up, like, obviously know what capitalism is, but I don't know. I looked up like exactly what late stage capitalism refers
Okay.
to as a term, so that we can kind of look at it. And it's kind of the post-industrial, like, mass consumerism, mass production, like, kind of emphasizing on like overconsumption and all of that. And I think that it's like, although I hear what she's saying, I think that it's like vast, sweeping statement like that are kind of very like not divisive, but like, yeah, you could kind of get a bunch of people to agree to say like capitalism is bad and it's ruining XYZ. And it's like, okay, yes, I hear what you're saying, but also I don't think it's as like simple and straightforward as that, you know. And it's like, if you're kind of breaking down what she says, it's like, okay, late stage capitalism has ruined dance because it's like this kind of overconsumption of like trying to just produce more,
Okay.
and like consuming dance is like, okay, well, it makes it that like the most impressive thing is the thing that gets rewarded,
Right.
as opposed to being a means of expression. It's like you just have to seek to be impressive, and that's what's going to make you successful, and that's what's going to make you be able to achieve or receive value and be awarded a prize. So people don't give value to like expressing something, but just to being impressive in a competition setting, where like if you do 50 pirouettes, it's more impressive than like expressing something, which I personally like think it can be true in certain contexts,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's true like period, you know. And
Yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised on like some of the people that I saw comment like that I feel like are people from the community that like have participated in competitions or are organizers of competitions. So it's like, I think it's like, well, aren't you then part of the problem that you're flagging? And it's like, yes, capitalism is a like not necessarily like flawed, but yes, there's problems with like kind of overconsumption and overproducing and all of that, but also it's hard to say that it's ruined something when you're also benefiting from it. So for me, acknowledging only part of it is like not a reflection of the system as a whole, if that's what you want to criticize. Because it's like, right, capitalism has ruined dance, but it's also allowed you to open a studio and to get like hundreds of students enrolling in your thing. So want to talk about capitalism? Let's talk about the whole picture. So like that's why I feel like there's an issue with that. And because like I do think that there's also like a lot of dancers that are artists and that are really truly seeking to express themselves and that are really truly seeking to push an art form. And like, are these people found in studio competitions? Maybe not, but maybe some of them are. Like, I remember doing like studio competitions when I was a teen, and that like I was feeling something, like, and it did really mean a lot to me. And it's like I was living a lot of like really powerful experiences when I was performing and all of that. Was that coming across to the audience, or did it look like just another set of like 15 other sets? Yeah, maybe it did. But at the same time, this is kind of what I feel is contradiction, because who are you to like say what somebody on stage is feeling just because you're not feeling it, you know? And it's like, it's funny because I went on her page and she like posted a video of a choreo from World of Dance that, you know, she said like that she loved and that like really meant a lot to her at the time that it came out because of all of that. And for me, I watch that set and it doesn't do anything for me. Like, I don't find it particularly emotional or all of that. So it's like, well, how are we also judging this feeling thing and this like this, oh, it doesn't have feeling and it's not like expressive and it's not art, to you,
Yeah.
you
She
know.
literally says it like art is subjective, so everyone's gonna have different.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, how can you say then that like something is void of emotion just because it's not meaningful to you? So
Yeah.
I feel like I hear what she's saying, and that like, yes, there is maybe a lot of competition elements, and a lot of like, even, with like social media and all of that, that is like, maybe a lot of emphasis is put on like receiving external validation for something.
Yeah.
But I think it's also like like it's an art form, but it's also like a performing art.
Yeah.
So it's like the performance aspect of it is part of it, and I think it's like, in order to really be able to like merge the physical performance aspect with the like self-expression aspect, and for that to be one thing, takes a really long time and like years and years of practice.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, to discount one thing is, I feel like, a little bit reductive. And like, not to say that it's not true in some cases, but also like, I don't know, I feel like it is a little bit reductive and like very judgmental of like what you see as value and what you see as expressive and what you see as art is like not, it is like also one definition, so that if something doesn't fit in that definition, you would say it's like, oh, it's just performative. So yeah.
I think there's also like settings in the way you do things that really matters, because it's like, you're getting yourself into a competition, performative like environment. So like, this thing she's saying about like everything has become about like people watching you and you pleasing, or like, these kind of things. But it's like, this is exactly what this thing is about. Like, you go to a competition because you want to please the judges for them to give you more points to win, whereas like dancing for like the soul and whatever she's saying about like, oh, being a dancer, like to be an artist, it's like you can do this
in your living
so like literally you can do this in so many different settings. I feel like I understand her point, but then it's also like, you need to like you said, like see the bigger picture of things, and like where you actually like putting your energy, and like where like you're trying to like go with things, like I think it's just like the settings of thing will influence how people see it. Like, it's not as straightforward as like, well, like he did like 15 pirouettes, but he danced like more emotionally or whatever. Like, oh, that's how you feel. Like, I feel like it just doesn't work in this context.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. Also you could say like, late stage capitalism has ruined dance. Okay, but you can say like dancers have never been as like well off in life as they are now.
Yeah.
Okay, so both are true, probably. Like, so what? Not so what, but it's like, I don't know. I just think like these kinds of super short statements are like a bit inflammatory on purpose. And I don't think they really give the full picture. So I think like also kind of adopting a super narrow view of that is, yeah, like not dangerous, but like I just would call on people to think about the wider picture and not necessarily like a single aspect of it.
Yeah. Should we move on?
So that's that. Move on. So, we have an opportunity that we wanted to shout out. So there is Body Politic, who is an organization that is based in Oxford, and they have a commission that's open for 3K, so 3,000 Great British pounds. That is closing on the 16th of December, and it's basically for artists who want to create art.
Nice.
No, it's for artists who have an existing piece of work that they want to extend to 25 to 30 minutes. So if you have kind of a 15, 10, like, kind of a shorter piece that you want to extend, it's a commission fund and also performance opportunity to be able to extend that work, which I think is amazing, because there's not a lot of these like kind of call out and opportunities to like continue developing work. Oftentimes is either to like either start something or present something you've done. So in terms of like kind of like continuing a process and the further developing, I think it's a really amazing opportunity, and it's specifically for hip hop or street dance makers. So the information is on their website, and it's also on Instagram. So make sure you check out Body Politics.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I love it.
And then last topic.
Yeah.
Roundup, or not roundup, but Sophia and I wanted to share our top 3 theater performances. I feel like we spoke before, and it's mainly in the last year, but
yeah,
we can make it like top 3 of all time, but it's kind of top 3 of recent history.
Yeah,
of shows that we've seen. So
yeah,
it's not necessarily best of all time of even the shows we haven't seen, because we might go see Wicked the musical, and that might change everything.
very true.
So yeah, we're gonna share some of our top 3. Well, not some, all of our top 3. So what is your in position number 3? Is it in an order?
No,
or
it's not.
okay,
But I mean,
so it doesn't have to be in an order, but let's just say first top 3.
so the first one I thought about, and I think we spoke about it vaguely in another pod like a long time ago, is when I went to see Ballet BC.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was a double bill, so they performed one Crystal Pite like piece that I can't remember the name
I
of.
think like Angel's Atlas or something. Was it that?
It was the one with the lights, like they have all the pillars. I can't remember, but yeah, it was really amazing. But actually, my highlight was actually the Johan Inger piece
Okay.
that night. Yeah, which is called Passing. And it's so funny because I really went for Crystal Pite and I just left with Johan Inger, so I love it.
Come on.
But yeah, I mean, I think, are we developing on the pieces?
Yes.
I would say like shortly, not to extend too much. I mean, I was just like, I didn't know what to expect, and I was like, you know, it's one of those pieces where you just kind of sit down and you're like, okay, let's see what happens, and you like end up so amazed. Like, I think just, well, technically already, like it was so impressive because they had like fake snow like falling from the sky for like 20 minutes
Okay.
on the stage at Sadler's Wells, which is so like, I mean, I don't know, it's probably quite easy to make, but so I was just like so impressed, which is like a little thing, but like the whole thing was around like creating patterns with like ashes that was on the ground, and then the snow started falling and they started like making like, you know, these like beautiful shapes on the floor, and like there was like, I don't know, like maybe 20 dancers.
Okay.
And I think like what I loved about it was like there was a mix of like it being like funny,
Yeah.
but also like technically impressive, and I think just visually very different from like the work that has been created in the last few years. That for me, like there is a bit of like a theme with like how the pieces look nowadays. So yeah, I think like it stays a good memory just because it was so pleasantly surprising.
Nice.
Yeah, I really loved it. I'd love to watch it again.
Passing, it's called.
Passing, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I saw one piece from Johan Inger years ago, and I did enjoy it. It had also like quite a like cool set. I think he does a lot with like set, and because I know he also did a piece, remounted a piece on Rambert this year.
Oh, nice.
That has like a full carpet on, and there's like a leaf blower. And they like kind of have and there's like this huge fan, so it seems like he always brings in like elements that are a little bit out there in a sense of like also what you would normally see in a ballet.
Yeah,
You know, I feel like ballet tend to be a bit like more classical in like what they present.
Yeah,
I think he's Swedish.
yeah. I think he's Swedish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Johan Inger sounds very Swedish.
yeah. But yeah, really dope.
Sick. I think like I have to preface this by saying that like my top 3, I think, theater experiences this year is like they're not dance, they're theater.
Oh, I love it. Let's
Yeah.
go.
So in no particular order, I think one of the my favorite pieces that I've seen this year is called Lacrima. Lacrima. And the piece was in French. It's by like French Vietnamese playwright, and it was at the Barbican this autumn, and basically it's a story of a designer who has to make the wedding gown of the Princess of England who's getting married, and basically you follow the story of like the it's a French designer who's making the dress, but the dress is getting beaded in India, and the veil is being made in Alençon in France, where it's like lace specialists that are making a like kind of a special like technique of. So then it's kind of like you follow the story of the dress being made in different places in the world. And it's like it's a huge production, like, but it was just so well written and so like touching, and you know it's about so many different things. Like it's about our relationship to work, it's about like working with different cultures and kind of holding people to different standards and like power dynamics, and also there's like individual stories within it. And yeah, there was also like just so many different elements of like there was some live stream element.
Nice.
So yeah, it was just like so well written, so well made. And yeah, I think it was definitely like a highlight for me this year in terms of like, you know, I feel like the sign of a good show for me is when you sit down and you like forget that you're in a theater, and you just like so kind of you go into the world
Immersed, yeah.
Of where you of like whatever the story of or the show is. And I think movies or series do the same, you know, when you kind of like forget that time is passing. But yeah, that's a show that really did it for me this year.
I love it. It sounds so cool.
It was so good. It was really, really good.
Did you say in London?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
but it was in French.
It was in French. Well, it's like in French, English.
Okay, it's like a mix.
Yeah, because when they travel, like it changes, but they really do this subtitles in a clever way, you know, where like you don't feel like, like, well, I don't know, obviously because I'm a French speaker, but it's like there were subtitles if somebody didn't speak French. So I think it's like even that was like managed in a way that was really integrated so that you don't feel like, oh, I have to read this whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was really a highlight for me this year.
I love it. Very nice.
What was your other one?
I think you might have seen it, but and we're back with Crystal Pite.
Hey, my girl.
But it's Crystal Pite and Jonathan Young.
Yes.
And it was the Assembly Hall.
Yes.
But I think it was last year.
Yeah.
Or even maybe 2 years ago. I felt like so long ago. But well, it was the first Crystal Pite performance I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I literally got out there and I was like, like I feel like for me it just completely twisted the way I see dance in a theater setting.
Yeah.
Like it was just like I feel like literally I was watching a movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's so rare in a theater setting, which obviously because it's not a cinema.
Yeah.
But also just like because I feel like there's like this part of me like in the work that I kind of want to do and things like that, like, and I love movies, so like I feel like there's something about like just them mixing and coming together that just like felt so real. And like I feel like the focus on the storytelling was like so different from what I usually see, that I was just like, I was literally on the ass. I was just sitting there and I was like, what is happening? And I didn't want it to end, you know. That's like this kind of things where it's just like keeps going. Like they had like the whole like different settings, the characters, like, and like even the sound design of the pieces are like, it's so amazing. So yeah, I was just really, really impressed.
Yeah, I love that piece also. I mean, I love like, I think Crystal Pite is just a like a goat of this generation. And well, I mean, greatest of all time is like not of a generation. It's goat is a goat. But like, I think, you know, in the collaborations that I've seen between her and Jonathan Young, it's like there was Betroffenheit that I've seen. and then assembly hall. And I also think like, especially as time is passing, I really think I have a love and an appreciation for like text and like, you know, how kind of text is used.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this is, of course, it's contemporary dance, but it's very heavily text. Like the text carries the story.
Yeah.
And I think what they do a really good job of is like straddling between like very concrete real life situations and then using the like abstractness and absurdity of dance and movement to like expand the world. So they can kind of propose very concrete, like, okay, you're in an assembly hall, there's a reunion between people, and then, you know, so it's kind of like you're able to contextualize very specific things, but then it kind of goes into a dream world where like the abstractness of the movement can carry that imaginary like dimension, you know, that I think it's like is really hard. Like doing that with words is really hard, but then it's like doing the concrete setting up without words and just movement would be really hard. Like how would you understand that you're in an assembly hall and that this person is the annoying, like, you know, I think it's like there's things that words just do better than movement and other way around as well.
Absolutely.
But yeah, assembly hall was defo a really good one. I think, to be honest, like Beethoven Heights is one of my favorite shows that I've ever seen, I think.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Because I mean, okay, I wasn't gonna use that one, but I will say it now. One of my favorite of all time shows that I've seen was called Babel, and it was by Sidi Larbi Cherkaoui and Damien Jallet. Yeah.
Yep.
Big collaboration.
Name dropping.
I think I saw that show like maybe 15, 20 years. Like I saw it really, really early on in my life. And I feel like it really expanded my horizons and expanded my mind of like what dance theater could be. And again, in that show, there is a lot of text and there is like quite a lot of like theatrical characters that aren't necessarily like a traditional like dance show.
Yeah.
But and you know it was kind of alluding to like the Babel story fable of how they built the tower. And like, or I mean, I'm gonna say this in a really poor way, but that basically like isn't the it's a story is it in the Bible?
I'm not sure.
Okay, basically the story is that like the story is something to do with like how languages were created, but it's kind of it's a myth of like different cultures had to come together to build this tower, but they couldn't build it because they couldn't understand each other or something like that. I'm probably butchering the story, but basically like the piece is about like kind of different immigrants like having to confront each other and like a clash between different cultures. So it's like on stage you also had a real mix of like people with different physical languages, people who spoke different languages, people who were like breaking up and coming together. And yeah, it was really like it touched me so much, and it like really kind of, I don't know, opened my mind on what theater could be. So I'll make that my number 2, even if it wasn't going to be.
Maybe we can give you an extra one at the end.
No. 3 is 3.
I love it. I really want to watch it now.
Yeah. It was so good. Also, it's like, you know, part of me is like, I would want to see it again. And then part of me doesn't, because I don't know if I would see it the same now as I did when I was like 18.
Yeah, I hear that.
Sometimes it's like, it's good to just like let some, like, especially, you know, when you're at a different point in your life. It's kind of like, I wouldn't want to watch it now and be like, oh, it wasn't actually that good. And then it kills the memory.
Yeah. It's like watching like a film that you used to watch when you were little and you watch it now and you're like, why did I
like that was
this?
so stupid.
Yeah, I hear that.
But it's funny, I actually ended up like working on a project with the producer who produced that piece. And I was in the car with her and I was like, I have to tell you, like, that piece really like changed me as a like teenager. And yeah, it was nice to be able to like exchange on that.
I love that full circle moment.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah. Okay, last one, Sophia.
Last one, and I don't want to be like, predictable, but it's Bounced by Sons of Wind. Just because I feel like, same again, like it kind of like shaped the way I see hip hop in theater, and like I'm talking about like hip hop, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like what they've done, like in the way they like represented the culture in like so many different aspects, with like, the clothing, the music, the movement, the community aspect, it's just like so revolutionary for me, in a sense of like I've never seen hip hop like this represented on a stage, and I think they just need props for that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it just stays in my top 3 because it's like close to my heart in the cultural aspect of like, I love hip hop and it feels nice to see it in that setting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, I think my last one is very, 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 very biased.
Okay. I know what you're gonna say. Go on.
But so I worked on the show, and my brother wrote that show as well. So that's why I'm saying I'm biased. But I think one of my favorite shows that I've seen, but that I've been part of also, is called Je comprends respect, aka I get it, respect. And it's a show that my brother wrote. Well, I mean, he started writing it like I think 5 years ago, but it had a run in Montreal in March this year. And basically the show is his story of how he came up in street dance, but there's a battle that happens inside the show. So you have like people of the community that are entering, and all the people who enter and who don't pass the prelims are like invited to watch the show on stage. So it's like you have the play that unfolds, but there's also like on stage the community that's there. And yeah, I think it's like I said, I'm biased because this is like the story of my family, so I of course cried every show without exception.
Love it.
But it was also like, I think because the show is like, basically the premise of the show, like I said, is for him to share like his story of how he came into street dance, but it really goes into like all the like things that he did, or not all, but a lot of things that he did that were like like shameful, embarrassing, like his own relationship to his identity and to like being bullied, how he like took it out on other people, how he, like, and so I think that in a way it also like makes us look at the dancers who are on stage and who are participating in the battle in a different way.
Yeah.
And like, so the show ends. Okay, so the person who wins the battle wins a cash prize, but they also win 5 minutes of carte blanche on the stage.
Nice.
So basically, they win the opportunity that at the end of the show, they have the last 5 minutes of the show to do whatever they want. And so it's like, after 2 hours of him sharing his story and being super vulnerable and sharing some stuff that like not a lot of people would have the courage to like say, even in a closed circle of people, but even less like on a stage in front of an audience.
Yeah.
But then it just makes it that like the people who get the 5 minute at the end are also like super open, and there's been like really beautiful things that have been shared. Like I think in the last show I was like, I made it through the show and I was like, oh, I haven't cried at all. Like, okay, whatever, like I made it. And then the person who did the last 5 minutes on stage, just like, he got super emotional. He started like dancing and he was crying on stage and everybody was around him. And then I was just like, ah. But yeah, so I will take my word for it. I will be bringing this show to the UK. I don't know when, I don't know where, I don't know how, but you heard it here first. I will bring this show to London and to the UK. But yeah, that's like one of my favorite shows ever.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
I heard about it so much now. I just like the hype is there. Like,
Come on.
yeah.
So yeah, so that's it for my top 3. So it was Lacrima, Babel, Je comprends respect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my top 3 was Passing, Assembly Hall, and Bounce. Very strong top 3s.
Yeah. So hopefully in 2026 there's some shows that come through that, you know, knock out these 3.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's see. I'm really excited.
Yeah. So that's it for this week. Make sure that you tune in and let us know in the comments. Also, I want to know what your top 3.
Yeah.
I'm so curious of like the people who listen to the podcast. Like, well, first of all, if you go to the theater, if you don't, then I would recommend go see shows, and make sure that you follow People of Theater on Instagram, and they have a newsletter as well, and they have a bunch of discount codes for shows. Because I know that in these times, going to the theater ain't cheap, but they often have like £10 tickets to shows that are like 40, 50 quid. So make sure that you check them out, and they have a subscription plan that you get like kind of extra promotion codes. So make sure you check out People of Theater.
Nice.
And let us know in the comment what your top 3 is. And we will see you next week.
Thank you.